Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. And welcome. Good morning. It's Sunday morning here. It's July 20th and I'm recording a day early because I have something going on tomorrow night. So I thought, hey, I couldn't sleep in. Why don't I just get up for choir and record for you all, because I have a lot of knitting. Somehow this week there was a lot of knitting that happened, so ta-da! This is episode 33. Excuse me, it's still early in the morning. I didn't do my hair. This is what my hair looks like when I get up, pretty much, so I thought I'd go with it. Some days it looks better than others, so it is what it is. Anyway, welcome to any new viewers. Thanks for checking me out. I really appreciate it. And welcome back to returning viewers. I really enjoy interacting with you guys in the Ravelry boards, on YouTube, and all that stuff. So let's start out with Blow the Conch shell. We have 102 members in the Ravelry group, so we're going to do a drawing. I'm just going to start with that. So I have downloaded, of course I have all my finished objects on the computer, so things are in the way. Alright, 102, so random number generator, 102, 87. Ta-da! So who is number 87? Let's see. Scroll down. 87 is J.A. Kelsey, who is Julie. So get in touch with me, J.A. Kelsey. I hope that's how you pronounce it. And let me know which pattern you would like. It's a Ravelry giftable pattern, $5 or less. So let me know what you want, and I will send that your way. Awesome. I'm so excited that we reached 100 members. It's really exciting. Also on YouTube, we have 220, I think, plus something subscribers. So that's also really exciting. Right now, the way you find the podcast, obviously the way you're finding it, but I am uploading everything on YouTube, so you can subscribe to the channel and then get updates that way. I also upload it to my blog, which is pearlofthepacific.info. You can, and then you click podcast, or you can put .info/podcast, either way. I usually also post it in the Ravelry threads in the board, which is Knitted Paradise Podcast. If you don't know how to find that, go to ravelry.com, and if you go to the groups tab and search for Knitted Paradise, you'll find it. I think that's the only one. I think it's called Knitted Paradise Podcast. And when you open it, up in the corner, there's a thing that says join this group, and then you join the group. So that's how you do it, just in case you were wondering. Someone said they had problems doing it, so I thought I'd just give a quick explanation of where you do that. If you don't know about Ravelry and you're a knitter, you should totally go check it out, or a crocheter, or a spinner, or anything to do with fiber. It's really awesome. I call it Facebook for knitters. It's really amazing. So, yay for that! 102 members. Oh, don't save. Okay, sorry, I'm getting the spreadsheet out of my way so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, the other announcement is Blow the Conch shell is the July knit along. This is July. For a couple more weeks, or a week and a half, I think, more. So the challenge, or it's not really a challenge, but the theme this month is to knit something in your favorite color. My birthday is in July. It was a couple weeks ago, and so I thought, hey, knit something in your favorite color. I'm going to show off my shirt at this point. Oh, I'm just going to tilt the camera down a little bit. This is a shirt that my brother got me for my birthday. Ta-da! He also got me the scale that I showed last week. But this was the surprise part. Let's adjust this a little bit. There we go. I'm in a chair that moves, so it's a little funky depending on if I sit forward or sit back where I am in the camera. I'm trying to figure it out. Anyway, so my brother knows me well, obviously, because he got me the shirt, so. And he picked the perfect size, which is hard. I have a hard time picking my own size. So, yay for cool, awesome shirts. So, ta-da, keep calm and carry yarn. Which is funny because last year, I asked him for a purse because the purse I had had rainbows and unicorns on it, which wasn't cutting it as like an adult purse. I pretty much didn't use a purse because I didn't really have one. So I was like, Lewis, I need a purse that like looks sophisticated, but it has to have enough room to carry yarn in it. Like, so half the purse is like purse stuff, wallet, keys, stuff like that, and then the other half is for my knitting, pretty much. And then there's a divider in the middle. So he knows me well at this point. So yay for birthdays. I had an awesome birthday. I didn't really talk about it, I guess, last week, but I went to work, normal day, came home, and my husband cooked me a very, very nice salmon dinner. He had gone to the store that day and picked up some salmon to surprise me with, so that was really nice. It was funny because I was sitting at work, I'm like, what do I want for dinner? I'm like, I kind of want salmon. And then he called me, he's like, do you want salmon for dinner? I was like, you read my mind. So that was kind of fun. And so that was cool. Let's see what else. Oh, I have some more announcements. So next month, there is a yarn crawl in Chicago, which I will be participating in. Basically what happens is you get a little passport type thing, and you go around to all the different yarn shops in the area. And every yarn shop has a free pattern. They also have discounts on yarns. Often they have cool trunk shows or classes or special events. So I'm going to do that. I did it last year, and I did it a couple years before that. Excuse me. So that's going to be really fun. And also right after that is Stitches Midwest, which I do plan on going to. It's about 45 minutes west from me, so pretty close. I don't know which day. It's not going to be a weekday. I know that because I have to work. But it's probably going to be that Saturday, which is 9th, I think. Because it starts on Thursday, which is the 7th. So it'll be, I think it's whatever that Saturday close to the 9th is. That's the day I'll be planning on going. So if you are planning on going, come find me. I'm pretty easy to recognize in the crowd thanks to the bright red hair. And I may or may not have buttons. I'm not quite sure if I can get them in time. So we'll see. But I certainly have free hugs. I'm a hugger, so you can definitely come up and say hi. Please don't be shy. I'd love to meet you all and see some pretty yarn. And the other knitting event that's coming up is Vogue Knitting Live, which is happening in October. And I also plan on going to that, mainly because I just registered for classes yesterday, so I'm definitely planning on going to that. I'm going to take a class on steeking, and I'm going to take, I guess it's a lecture with Susan B. Anderson on knitted toys. So I'm really excited about that. And then, of course, the marketplace. So if you're going to be there, come find me as well. I'll definitely have something giveaway-ish by then. I'm not quite sure what it'll be. But, yay for knitting events. Sorry if you could hear that with my stomach. I just ate breakfast, so it's probably going, ooh, nice breakfast. Alright, let's jump into the knitting content now that we're 10 minutes in with on the island. I have them all on the floor here. I'm gonna pull them up for a second. I started a new batch of knitting, basically, as I finished up some of the old things. I also pulled some things out of the hammock, so I have some old but new things. Man, found a birdie friend. This birdie friend was visiting us. It's a female cardinal, and right outside the window over here, there's like it's the entryway to our apartment building, but the top kind of goes in, so when it rains, it collects water, which is basically a bird bath. And so Pan gets really excited when the birds come visit. So he's wagging his tail and stalking over there. It's kind of funny. Anyway, knitting, right? This is a knitting podcast, not about birds and cats. Although it's fun. All right. We'll start here. These are a pair of fingerless mitts, and they are called Does It Ever Bother You That Your Life Doesn't Make Sense? And they are by Jennifer Amey. It's out of Knit Picks palette in Serrano, and I kind of finished the first one. I didn't do the thumb yet, so it's still on. I didn't have extra yarn or a stitch holder, but I did have 3 locking stitch markers, so I used that to hold the thumb. But it's kind of based on the Tilting TARDIS's cowl, so you can kind of see the Tilting TARDISes. Although it does just kind of look cool, even if you're not a Doctor Who fan. So that's that, and I started the second one. So, ta-da! So that's coming along. It is quite bright, like it is that bright. Okay, maybe not that bright, but it's quite bright. Which is awesome. This is the pattern yarn needles and even stitch markers, not the locking ones, but these nice blue ones. And these I got as part of my Doctor Who swap, if you remember a little while ago. Those are little stitch markers. So I used those when I was knitting the thumb. They're not good for holding the thumb, but. And so that's thing number 1. Let's see, my hair's my hair's all over the place in the morning. Number 2. Oh, this is a hat that I'm kind of making up as I go along. I'm doing it top down, which I know is weird for hats, but it is what it is. It's striped. It's out of the Leading Men Fiber Arts showcase in Spritely Endeavors and where is it? Sandcastle. And this matches the knits that I just finished and my Andrea shawl. So what I'm gonna do, I want it to have stripes on one side and then a leaf lacy pattern on the other. So that's why I started top down. So I looked up top down fingering weight tats and a free one on Ravelry, so I could just figure out how to start this, and then I'm just kind of gonna go until I have a decent amount of stitches. I mean, it's that big at the moment, but it's gonna be stripes on the inside, and then I'm gonna do some ribbing, and then a purl ridge, which we'll turn it, do some more ribbing the other way, and then knit the lacy part up, because it's easier to do lace bottom up and top down, so I'm doing the stripes top down. And there's in a matching Shibi bag I got at a local yarn store. I'm not sure who it's by. There's no tag on it, but it's funny. My yarn always seems to match my bag. I've got green and tan yarn, and I've got green grass and tannish. I guess they're gray sheep, but it's got these nice polka dots on the inside. Oh, and I didn't show my bag on this. This is just a Clinique makeup bag that I got for free somewhere. And then this is my Slip Stitch Studios little, the needle nook, she calls these. It's got all my stuff in there. And I thought it kind of matched the bag. Close enough. It matches the project, that's for sure. Alright, I'll just dump these on the floor. Alright, what's next? I'll wait on that one. But I pulled out of the hammock my bunny by Susan B. Anderson. This has been sitting in a hammock for a while. I started knitting it for a friend's baby who was born last October, and so I thought, you know what, I'm going to finish it by this October and give it to her on her first birthday. So this is the bunny body, this is its head. That's the front of the head, I think. And then I knit the ears and the arms yesterday. I haven't finished any of them, but this is, there's little pieces everywhere. So you knit the outside and the inside of the ear, and then you stitch them together. So I'll probably work on that maybe this afternoon. And then I knit the arms. This is the other half. I'm just going to show you one. And then you put some pellets in the bottom here, and then some stuffing, and then on the side. So I pulled that back out to work on that, and that's out of Barocco Weekend. The gray is Camp Stove, and the pink is Iris. So, and that's living in my Pearl of the Pacific bag that apparently has a big stain on it. But, ta-da! And I love this bag because it's got all sorts of pockets on the inside, which is great. Okay, and this next one, we're gonna kind of overlap, set sail and on the island, because I pulled out, because I finished a bunch of things. I was like, I need some more projects, so I went into, last weekend I cleaned up my kind of project area. I have a set of baskets that I got at the Container Store that are just kind of, they stack on top of each other. They're plastic, they're not like baskets. Anyway, but on the top one I have all my works in progress. And so I went in there and pulled out some old things, and I finished my Gryffindor scarf. Ooh, it's warm on the bottom for me on the computer. It's still a little damp because I washed it and I've been hanging it over the shower curtain rod to dry. But ta-da, it's done. It's huge. And this is out of Cascade 220, sorry, Cascade 220. And I think this is Maroon and Goldenrod. They don't always have names, and sometimes the names change by place, but it's either burgundy or maroon and goldenrod. And I knit it in the round, and I think it's 60 stitches all the way around. And I just put tassels on the end. I'm gonna trim them so that they're all kind of the same length. I'm noticing there's some long bits in here. But I wanted to wash and block it first. That's it. Ta-da! So this will go with my, I have a Ginny Weasley costume, and my husband has a Harry Potter costume. Or, since we're not quite the age of Harry and Ginny in the school, we're not quite school age. So we've gone with Lily and James. So depending on what we're feeling like, we're either Lily and James or Ginny and Harry. It works out either way. So I finished that, and put it back here on the computer. And I started the next one. So this is the one for my husband. Yeah, it was funny because I picked that one up and just started knitting while we were watching Star Trek. And then all of a sudden I was like, let me see how long this thing is, because I've kind of just been knitting on it off and on for a really long time. And I just got like, oh, I could probably finish this tonight. And so I just did one more stripy repeat and then knit the maroon to the end and bound off. And I was like, all right, finish that. Didn't think I was that close to the end, so that was kind of exciting. And so I cast on my husband's Harry Potter scarf. And I'm making his a little wider. I think I made it like 35 stitches or something. I don't remember. Anyway, this is the very beginning. Ta-da. Same yarn, same needles, and it's now living in my Harry Potter bag. It actually fits in the Harry Potter bag. That one was kind of overflowing a little bit because it's getting kind of large, but the yarn could stay in here. I mean, it was getting big enough that I'm not going to take it anywhere anyway, so it didn't really matter. But so this is from Kicks and Giggles on Etsy. So that's where that came from. And the other thing I finished was the Brush Creek Cowlette in Knit Circus Thrilling in Cranberry Plum. Sorry, itch. So here it is. I just took it off the blocking boards and it looks lovely. And I followed the directions or the advice of a lot of people and did the yarn over on the edge, and that worked out well. Made the neck opening quite big. Also, I didn't join in the round when it told you to. As you can see in the back here, it kind of goes down. It's not straight across. I didn't join in the round when it told you to. What I did do is I just kept knitting back and forth and followed the pattern. I didn't keep increasing. So that's why it goes down a little bit, because there's no increases along here. So, because I think this is where you're supposed to join in the round, and I went a little extra. So what I'm going to do, because this isn't for me, this is for a friend of mine, I'm going to ask her, because this would fit over my head, but her head's a little bigger than mine, so I'm going to see if she likes it this way or this way, because what I can do is just kind of sew this up to make it smaller. Here, I'll put it up. Because what happens is this sits a little lower because the neck opening is larger. So if I sewed up that back part, it would pull this up a little bit. So I'm going to see how she likes it, and then, you know, finish it how she wants it, because it's for her and it's not for me. So it's done. I'm trying to style it. It's a little funky on me, but anyway, I'm happy that's done. And I guess that's it for knitting. I've started the next batch, as you can see, so I'm going to continue to work on that. I had to make, so I've got projects for home, I've got projects for my purse, I've got projects for when I want something complicated, I've got projects for when I want something simple, so I should be set for a while. Alright, what do I have left on my list? On the horizon, I guess it's just finishing up or working on this next batch. I did frog a bunch of stuff yesterday, basically some hats that I wasn't really quite happy with, the simple skip socks. Jeez, my stomach is talkative today. Anyway, the pink and black stripy kind of socks, I did rip those out. And I thought I might gift those to the person who won the last month's whatchamacallit knit along, but I think they were going to be even too small for her. So I was like, well, all right, they're too small for me, they're too small for her. I'm just going to rip them out and do it over again. Because if it's worth doing once, it's worth doing right. So I'm going to make those a little larger this time, and hopefully they work out. I'm going to use a different pattern. I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. So those are on the horizon. So I'm going to reknit those hats that I ripped out into different hats. It was just there was one that was the yarn and the pattern didn't quite work together. There was one where it just didn't. I didn't knit it big enough. I didn't knit it long enough, so it was like here, and I really wanted it like to cover my ears, and every time I wore it, I was like, oh, I hate the fact that this hat's so small. I was like, Lucia, you haven't really woven in the ends. Why don't you just rip it out and reknit it into something else? So, sorry, I'm shedding all over the place. Anyway, so I'm going to knit that into something else. And there's another one that was way too small. So I'm going to turn that yarn into mitts, because I did end up knitting that hat larger for myself. So that's that. Flora and fauna. Thank you to the person who posted in the thread on Ravelry about what you want to hear about. And she asked about shawl knitting. She said she's really been into shawl knitting lately, and what are my thoughts on shawls? So let's talk about shawls. I love shawls. I'm still kind of figuring out how to wear shawls. I did wear my Mrs. Tumnus, which is the bright yellow one that I think I wore in the first episode. No, I didn't go anywhere yesterday. Friday to work. And everywhere I wear that shawl, everyone loves it. I wore it to Vogue Knitting Live last year, and everyone was like, oh my gosh. That was really exciting. I was like, people appreciate my knitting. It's not a hard shawl, but it was a little, I don't want to say tedious, but it took a while and it took some concentration. It's a bottom up crescent shape, so you start with all these stitches, and all the lace part is on the bottom, and so you really have to pay attention, because there's a lot of repeats of that lace pattern, and because if you're like 1 or 2 stitches off, it just looks really weird. I mean, it's lace, so, but it's really pretty, and I'm really happy with it. I tend to like crescent shaped shawls personally, just because triangular shawls tend to get very large on me. They don't look as good on me, just because they take up my entire torso, because I'm tiny. I mean, proportionately, I have a very long torso and short legs, but still, triangular shawls tend to just take up my entire torso, and that just looks funky. So maybe I just need to knit shallower but longer. That's me. So I do like my crescent shaped shawls. I do just kind of wear them like a kerchief. Although I do like the cowlet idea, where it's a shawl, but I mean, it looks like a shawl, but it wears like a cowl, just because you don't have the ends to worry about. Let's see what else with shawls. I just finished my first lace weight shawl, as you guys saw a couple episodes ago, and I really did enjoy that. I really want to do some more lace and lace weight shawls. It really wasn't as hard as I originally thought. The first yarn crawl I went on 2 years ago, I guess it was, one of the patterns that they were giving out was this gorgeous lace shawl, and you could do it out of fingering or lace weight, and so I bought some fingering, I bought some variegated fingering, which did not go well with the pattern. Anyway, I tried to knit this shawl pattern, and this was my first ever shawl, and it's a bottom up shawl. So I cast on all these stitches, and then it said like repeat chart A twice. So as the inexperienced shawl knitter, what I did was I went through the chart from like, stitch 1 all the way to the end once, and then went back and went through it twice. And I was like, well, that doesn't work, because now I have all these stitches left, and the pattern's like this many stitches, and I have this many stitches, and they weren't the same amount of stitches. So I was very confused on how to do this. So I never knit the shawl. I skipped that one. I would like to go back and do it. I mean, I still have the pattern. But what I realize now is that there's a certain number of stitches that you repeat in the chart. I was not an experienced chart knitter at this point. So I've since learned, and I love charts now. I prefer them over written, but I don't mind written. What I do like about charts is that you're able to see what stitch is supposed to be over what stitch, so it helps you read your knitting a little better. If the yarn over is supposed to be over this stitch or one over or these, so it helps me visually of how it's supposed to look, basically how is the finished thing supposed to look. So that is something I prefer. So what I've learned about knitting charts now is that there's like the edge stitches, and then there's a certain number of stitches that you repeat. Basically, you go through them and then go back and then go through them, and then you finish it. But what I learned that time is that what it meant by repeat the chart twice is that you go through it once this way. So you knit, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth up the chart, and then you go back and you go back and forth up the chart. So you get 2 repeats of that lace on top of each other. So I learned. Live and learn, right? My experience has just been to try things, and if it doesn't work, then you go figure it out and try it again. So I've since learned, and I since know how to read charts, and quite successfully. Most things I'm self-taught. I have never taken a class about knitting. My grandmother taught me originally, but since then I've kind of figured most things out. There was one funny story I was telling my friend this week, actually, who wants to learn how to knit again. So I taught her, I think, last summer. So we've started a weekly knitting lunch at work, so that's kind of fun. Anyway, I was telling her that my grandmother taught me to knit, and I bought this like scarf and hat book at my local craft store, and some like red heart yarn, and I was trying to knit this scarf with this gorgeous, it was a textured pattern on it. And of course it was 2 colors, which makes everything more complicated. And I was going along, and one of the instructions was, I think, slip 1, knit 1, and pass the slip stitch over. And I went to my grandmother and I said, what does this mean? And she basically said, oh, you just pass it from one needle to another, which is a slip stitch. And so I was like, okay. So I started knitting on this scarf, and instead of it looking like, going straight up like this, it started going like this. And I was like, I don't think this is supposed to do this. So I went back to my grandma and I was like, are you sure this is right? And she's like, yeah, I'm sure that's right. I was like, I don't think this is right. So I went back to the craft store, and luckily someone there knew how to read knitting patterns, and I said, no, that's not what it means. It means slip 1, knit 1, and then pass that slip stitch over this one. So I've since learned, and I don't know if I ever re-knit that scarf. It's a really cool textured 2-color thing. Anyway, on second try, it did go straight up, and it was right. So that's really the only time I've had any sort of instruction, except for YouTube. So the fact that I'm taking a class at Vogue Knitting Live is kind of exciting. Most things I just look online and find things, but I thought steeking, I think I want some help with that. And I found this gorgeous vest that I want to knit my husband, but of course it's knit in the round because it's Fair Isle and it's steek. So I thought, oh, I better learn how to steek It's the last kind of major thing that I haven't tackled, I guess. So anyway, back to shawls. So that's, I guess, my experience with shawl knitting is just not knowing how to read charts and then figuring out how to read charts, and it was a revelation. It's so much easier. And then just for me, and I like patterns that include both. You know, it's early in the morning, I'm trying to figure out my words here, but I like that because it helps me as a knitter to see, you know, what the written charts say, or the written pattern and the chart, because sometimes I use them together. And also it helps people who like one or the other. You know, I hate when patterns are exclusive because it's only charted. I mean, I think that's fine. Sometimes it's way easier than charted than to write it out, but I think it's really nice when designers do both, because then knitters can choose which one they like, or a combination of both. If some row is really confusing you and you're trying to figure things out, you have the written pattern to go to say, oh, that's what that means. I mean, the charts obviously have a key to them, so it's not that challenging, but I like having both in terms of shawls. And I really hope to explore some more shawl knitting. I haven't done a lot of it, but it is something that I'm very interested in. So hopefully you'll be seeing more shawls from me. I made a list the other day of yarn that I want to get at Vogue Knitting, Yarn Crawl, Stitches Midwest, some stuff like that, and a lot of it includes shawl yarn, because I realize a lot of the sock weight or fingering yarn that I have is variegated, which doesn't work for all shawls. A lot of them you really need a semi-solid or a solid. So hopefully I'm going to get some more of that and some more lace weight, because I don't have any. Well, I have the leftovers from my last shawl. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Have a great day. I hope to get this episode up later today. We'll see. I do still have some time before choir this morning. So I'm going to go put on some nicer clothes for choir. But I wanted to show you all my shirt. And have a great day. Have a great week. Post in the Ravelry boards your finished objects for July, your favorite color finished object. I'm loving seeing what you guys knit so far, and also hearing why you like certain colors. It's kind of exciting. And I think that's it. Bye.